Hey Coach, it's Joe Salas here. We're going to be talking about defense again today. I'm probably the only guy in the world that gets excited about insertion schedule, but the ability to systematically install and rep different aspects of your system is what gets me excited about it. So today is defensive insertion with a 3-4 defense. I think I've said on another video, I'm a simple, it's really an old slant angle 50. Now it's a 3-4 slant angle, but we want to keep it simple as possible. We want to install it very systematically, and the key to the whole deal is get 11 dogs that run to the ball, and you're going to be in good shape. So let's go through the days first. Day one, we put in our pinch call. This is really our base when we're playing it. We call it black for base. So it's going to be the slants up front, it's going to be blitzes, and then it's going to be coverages. So our day one blitz is what we call rip and Texas. Those are two different calls. Rip is just bringing 5 guys. So both outside linebackers are coming on pass rush. When we call rip, what we're telling the defense, hey, I think it's a run. I think it's a pass, and we're sending 5. A lot of times we'll cover with 6 behind it. We can spin it down, or we can just stay 2 backers and 4 deep. Either way we want to do it, but we know it. We think it's a passing situation, and we feel like our 5 are going to be better than your 5. And then Texas is just a twist off of it, so ends go out, outside backers come in. Really like Texas even versus run. If we mess up and call Texas and they run the ball, we're usually in pretty good shape. And then we've got our base coverage is 4. We're a quarters team, but I've got 4+ because most of the time, if we're on a hash, we're gonna play quarter hash right there. We feel like that safety on the hash can take over the top and give the ability for that corner to play flats there, and I'll explain how we play it in a different video. Day 2 is our slant call. Slant just means strong to us, so we're going to slant strong in that situation. Lou Roy, basically, if we're getting, we call it our passing league stuff, that we're here, we're going to stop the run and stop the deep pass. But if someone is dinking and dunking, they're spreading the ball around, they're content with taking short completions, basically what we would do on offense, then we'll start playing what we call passing league, and we're going to be slanting and dropping in and bring 4 is what we're going to do there. Day 2, we put in our cover 3, and basically that's our answer to trips or twins with a tight end. We're gonna check 3 right there and feel pretty comfortable. And you'll see when I talk coverages, our corner technique is basically the same. We're sitting our guys at 7 yards deep to corners, whether it's 4, 3, or even if we're playing quarter hash. Our kids are sitting there at 7 yards deep, and they're gonna flat foot it for 1,001, 1,002, 1,000 go. Day 3 is our angle call. Angle for us is a weak call. So slant is strong, angle's weak. Day 3, we put in our lightning thunder. I know we use the same words on offense, and those are our fire zone calls, and we'll draw those up later. And then with the fire zone, we spin out of it. So we're looking quarters, and then we'll roll one down. Just basic fire zone stuff. Day 4, we put our home and away calls in, and that's how we have the ability to slant to the field and slant to the boundary. We're using home and away calls to get field and boundary calls. And then our day 4 blitz is what we call war, and that's the only time, and we don't call this very often, and we're very this is the one where we'll lock up and go 1, and we'll press. So we're looking for specific situations where we feel pretty good that they're trying to get the ball out quick. So we're going to bring heat. We're going to bring 5, and we're going to lock them up. So very specific passing situations when we're going to use this call. Not going to happen a whole lot. Don't like the living man. I'm a zone guy. But that's the one big thing I've learned this past year was there are certain situations down and distance, run pass tendency situations where it's a good idea to go ahead and lock up and heat them up. Big thing here, and I covered some of this in my other video, but the 5 drills that I think are the key. Your BAMA, which is your form tackling every single day. The takeaway circuit, you know, we live and die on takeaways. A shed drill where we're teaching kids how to get off blocks. You know, great defenses don't stay blocked. Our pursuit, and again, we don't use that as a conditioner. We use that to teach our run fits and to instill in their DNA that we got to get to the ball, guys. And then I kind of made this one stand out. Number 5 is the pass pro drill, and to be honest with you, that's an offensive drill. That's an air raid drill, but it has the double effect that while they're working their pass pro, we're working our pass rush, and that's why we feel that you know, in a pass situation, when we're telling them to go, when we're calling a rip, we feel like our guys should be better than the other team's guys. We should be able to pass rush better than they can pass pro, because they literally work this drill every single day. And it's because we're an air raid offense that this drill's gonna happen. Offense has to have this drill, but we're getting better in this drill too, and we're teaching them to cover down and do all those little detail things that get taught in that drill. So we feel like we're good pass rushers. If we feel like we should win one-on-one battles most of the time, and a lot of it has to do with that drill. There's two calls that we don't put in our insertion. The first one is just a bull call, and that just comes down the road. We'll get in at some point. It is just a change up. You know, we're slanting left, right, left, right, left, right. Well, at some point, you got to be able to call bull and just have them come off and hit them in the mouth, get their hands on them. They should be pretty good at shed, because we work a shed drill every day. So let them attack them. Hopefully we knock them back on their heels, and then we rip and run and get off when we find ball. So just a change up call might happen 3 times in an entire game. So we don't put that in the insertion, but we eventually get to it. And then prevent. My philosophy on prevent is it's important when it's important. So I think your amateurs will think that prevent means what you see in the NFL. To me, it doesn't. We call prevent when there are 1 or 2 plays left in a half or a game, and we're ahead. Well, we're gonna get ourselves into a situation where we know they have to throw it. Well, we're gonna back up and take advantage of those situations. So that is typically, we'll install that and only practice that on Thursdays before the game, when we run through our Thursday practice, which is heavy special teams and a few different situations. So that's those are the 2 that aren't on the insert that are important to us, and we eventually get to them. Biggest deal here. Hey, get you 11 dogs, or get you 11 wild dogs and get to the ball. If you got 11 dogs, you're gonna be good. And then swarm tackle takeaway. You know, again, when we ask our kids, or if someone comes in and asks our kids what kind of defense we play, we don't want them to say 3-4. We want them to say we play swarm tackle takeaway defense, because that's what we hang our hat on. The last thing is just, again, we're super basic on defense. You know, we want to stick to the knitting. We want to be bread and butter. We want to do less is more. Keep it simple. So we're extremely read-based defense, especially we like to play. I'd like to call pinch every time. I'd like to be in base every time. And there's a couple little things we do there. But if we're kicking someone's tail, hey, we'd love to play pinch every time. So our basic reads. Our inside backers, they are reading guards, and they are mirroring those guards, and they're doing what those guards tell them to do. If the guard comes out at them, they're coming to him. If the guard pulls, we're scraping over the top. Those guards tell our inside backers what to do. Our Sam and Hero, which is our outside backers, when they are brought up to the line. So you put a tight end in, our guy has to walk up, and he looks like a traditional 50 DN. He's standing up, and he is reading the head. So he's got a tight end, he's got his stance, his eyes are on that helmet. And that helmet is either gonna go in, which tells him to squeeze. It's going to come out, which tells him they're trying to reach him, and he's going to fight outside of it, or it's going to come at him. And when it comes straight at him, he tries to stick him, get his hands on him, stick him back in the hole. So that helmet, with that head read, that helmet read, head in, head out, head at me. That's the 3 reads. Our ends, I told you before, our nose and ends, they're playing the traditional, old-fashioned, I told you there's a tape on YouTube from the 60s where they're teaching slant and angle defense the way Michigan used to do it. But when we call this pinch, when they're stepping down inside, they're reading the guard. So there is a read to that when we're calling pinch, when we're calling black. And that is a butt face hip read. So if they get butt, that means that guard just pulled. So when they get a butt read, they're trying to reach that butt with their inside hand, leave this outside hand free. So they're chasing it, trying to get their chest squared to the line of scrimmage as they collapse. If they get a face read, that means the guard is coming to them. Now we get our hands on them, stick them back in the hole. And if they get a hip read, that means the guard is blocking down, either double teaming the nose or trying to work to backer. When we get that, we're punching that hip with our inside hand and we're flattening out and squeezing. So they only have to work that when we're getting the black call or the pinch call. All the other times it's just straight slant angle technique, just like that old Michigan tape, but there is a read involved there. So we're a very read-based defense, and we're very systematic in our approach. During spring, summer, fall camp, we're rolling through these 4-day insertions over and over and over and over, trying to get our reps. Repetition is the mother of learning, and less is more. So that's our defensive insertion. I know no one gets excited about it but me, but I always get fired up about insertion because I think the better you teach it and insert it, the better you're going to be. So we'll have, I'll do at least one more on coverages and maybe go through and draw up all this stuff, do it like offense, go day by day and go through it. Thank you, coaches.